Welcome everyone. It's really great to see you all here tonight. I'm so glad you can be here for the 4th Bill Vinten GTC University Awards. In a few moments I'd like to introduce Professor Michael Wilmore, the Executive Dean of the Faculty of Media and Communication. Our presenter and keynote speaker this evening is Graham Maunder, the Chair of the GTC. Graham's going to tell you a little bit more about what's coming up tonight. And it's wonderful to see so many students here tonight, a testament to your creativity, professionalism and hard work. Soon you'll be starting your careers in the film and television industry, but judging by these films, you're going to do really well. So well done to all of you. I've been fortunate enough to have had an exciting TV career that's been rewarding and great fun. So I'd like to wish you as interesting a journey as I have had, and wish you every success in your future careers. And a big thank you to all of the teaching staff here that make this possible. Now, please let me introduce you to Professor Michael Wilmore.
Thank you very much, Mark, for that introduction and a warm welcome. And I'd just at the outset just like to thank you for doing so much organisation for arranging tonight's event. It's absolutely terrific. I know many of your colleagues have been involved as well, but I'd like to thank you for your organisation. And welcome to everybody to tonight's awards ceremony. It's an absolute pleasure to be welcoming you on behalf of Bournemouth University and on behalf of our Faculty of Media and Communication to this event. I know that we've won this privilege through the award last year that we received, and I'm delighted that award has given us the opportunity to welcome you here tonight and welcome you here into this brand new building, which is a building that really embodies everything that we are about here at Bournemouth University. It's designed to be very student focused so that our students can come and study productively and happily and continue to develop all of the skills that we know are so richly received and warmly received by the industry when they go out and graduate and start their work within the television and film industries. We are committed to investing at Bournemouth University in the continuing success of our courses in areas like film and television. The best testament that we can give to that continued investment is the fact that following the creation of this building, just a little way over the car park, in the future we'll be creating another building, the Pool Gateway building, which will be specifically designed to house new film production facilities, studio facilities for teaching television and film, production facilities for teaching animation, as well as other areas of learning across the entirety of the university, especially in areas like science and technology. That's going to be a major investment and something that we hope will be an investment that will enable our students to continue to come to Bournemouth and achieve really great things and then go on to the kinds of great careers that are being acknowledged and rewarded tonight. So thank you very much to the GTC for allowing us to be involved in this event, and thank you in particular to Graham Maunder, who's now going to come up and give the keynote address before the awards start and then take us through the rest of the evening. So thank you very much. Before I go, I think we were going to have another photograph, weren't we? Because there was is that right? We were going to have another photograph, yes. Another photograph, which had been especially selected. Alicia Adams, who is here tonight now. Alicia, make yourself known to us. There you are. Excellent. And we wanted to include this photograph just to give a very real feel of our graduates. So Alicia is one of our graduates, and I think also demonstrates how incredibly important the GTC is to people who are beginning their careers as camera people. Because one of the things that Alicia did when she was still here was to contact the GTC, get herself involved in some of the workshops that are organised by the Guild, and then to make sure that she carried on as a member of the Guild immediately after graduation. And I think Alicia will speak for herself when we mingle after the event. Please do talk to Alicia, because she's a great graduate of this university, and she will attest to the tremendous help that the Guild has given to her in taking that all-important first step into her career after she graduates. So it's wonderful to be able to have Alicia here on screen and in person at this event. So thank you very much, and now I'll hand over to Graham for the rest of the evening. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Michael. And Alicia, it was good to see that in the picture you'd learned the first golden rule of being a cameraman, that when someone's taking a picture of you, you're smiling even though you had a red light on. That's good. Good evening, and a warm welcome to this, the fourth Bill Vinten GTC University Awards. It's actually my first public event as chairman of the GTC since I was elected in May. And it's a role I was proud to take on in an organisation that was founded 44 years ago by Dick Hibbard and John Henschel, our president, who's also here tonight. Sadly, Dick died last year, but I'd like to offer a very warm welcome to his wife, Jean, who I believe has just arrived, luckily. Thanks, Jean. Nice to see you. I'm sorry about the problems on the M25, but that's life. And it's why we always leave home an hour earlier than we need to get on site, so that's good. The Guild was formed to provide a source of advice and information to cameramen and women, and additional training through our workshops. The relationships with our sponsors offers a channel for manufacturers to discuss new equipment, improvements and designs. Bill Vinten was very quick to see the Guild's potential and always had a fabulous relationship with us. Sadly, he too passed away this year, but I'm pleased to welcome his wife Elaine, who's also here tonight. A big thank you goes to Vinten, who are sponsoring the awards, and particularly to Peter Harmon, Vinten's Head of Global Product and Sales Training, and to his colleagues. Some of the other GTC sponsors are also here, and as always, it's great to see you, and gives me a chance to thank you for your continued support. I've spoken enough for now, as we're here to celebrate the teaching of camera skills at universities and colleges of further education, rather than listen to someone who's at the other end of his career. So let's start with some entries that feature music. Whether it's shooting music videos, sport events, pop concerts, filming drama, documentaries or soaps, getting work in television can be difficult for anyone. On our website there's some useful information in the student section which hopefully will help, but it's always interesting to hear how people get started. So I'd like to introduce last year's winner of the Bill Vinten GTC University Award and a former graduate of Bournemouth University, Angus Mitchell, to let us know what he's been up to since his win.
Thank you, Graham. Good evening, everyone. I should probably introduce myself. I'm Angus Mitchell. I graduated from Bournemouth University not that long ago on a television production course. I'll explain my background a bit. So my interest in moving images has always existed. My father is a photographer, and when I was younger, there was a production company based in my hometown of Slough, who probably isn't, well, it's not the most creative place, let's just say that. They really kind of, this production company, they'd always push for teaching young people about film and providing workshops and things like that. So I'm actually now on a board of trustees for a charity that's actually been created alongside the production company, sort of continuing to help young people, especially in the Slough area, get into film. So when I was in school, I did some work experience and stuff at a broadcast camera rental company at Shepperton Studios, and then I made the decision to study television at university. So I came to BU, which was brilliant 3 years of my life. Although I stayed with that company that I'd done work experience with, and my sort of holidays and things. And actually, it was after my first year of university, I went back to them for a few weeks, and I was asked to deliver a camera to one of the dramas they provide the camera package for up in Birmingham, called Doctors. And I was up there for a couple of days shadowing one of the camera assistants, and he got his break at Downton Abbey. So they turned around to me and said, do you want to do it? So half of me was like, yes, and the other half of me was like, 18-year-old me was like, oh, crap. This is a big responsibility. So that was quite a steep learning curve. So that was my first proper experience of a television drama. It was a low-budget daytime TV, very run and gun. We'd shoot about 20 pages of script a day. We'd constantly be moving all around Birmingham, shooting all these different locations. But it was the best initial learning experience I could have asked for. Problem solving, thinking on your feet, all those kind of skills that you need to work in the camera department. And it was a great training ground as well. There's so much talent that started at Doctors and then would always come back to Doctors after working on larger primetime television shows and things like that and feature films. So it was a great place to learn. I then decided to go back to university, although after then sort of keeping up with the contacts that I'd made on Doctors, I then got offered a job as a camera trainee on a television drama in Liverpool. So that really, to me, kind of demonstrated, before I even left university, really demonstrated the importance of, not only establishing contacts, but then maintaining relationships, because that, is how you get the work. Getting phone numbers are easy, but it's kind of, it's then sort of pursuing those and, getting more work. So I went back to uni for my third year. Is anyone here in the room who is currently on or has done the television production course at Bournemouth Uni knows that the third year can be very intense. There's roughly 80 graduate films that need to be shot by every single member of the course. And you've got to really pull together and work as a team, as you would do in the industry, and on a very tight turnaround. So that was another really amazing learning experience that I got from studying here. Although before I'd actually finished my course, I was offered a BBC daytime drama as camera assistant down in Devon. So that was quite an interesting, intense time whilst trying to sort of graduate as well as doing a television drama. But it was worth it in the end, I think. Post-uni, no longer with the support of peers and tutors and things, which is one of the best things about university. You've got so many great resources, so many lecturers and things, experienced lecturers, especially at Bournemouth Uni, that you can chat to because they've done it. They've been through the ranks. They've and they're really good to ask for advice. So that's good advice to anyone still studying. Take advantage of that, because when you get out of uni, as I discovered, you're very much on your own. And so I spent a couple of months sort of not really knowing what I was doing. I just applied to a few full-time jobs in places and things like that, camera rental companies, sort of full-time assistant opportunities and things like that. But I decided I'd take the risk and I'd just try to start the ball rolling as a freelancer. So I applied to several different trainee schemes, including the Sarah Putt trainee scheme. Sarah Putt, an extremely well-respected agency and diary service based out of Shepperton. But they run a trainee scheme every year, and basically it's not really to teach trainees on-the-job skills, it's more sort of to teach you skills being a freelancer, how to handle your finances, how to present yourself, how to network, all the things around, learning about your actual job you need in order to succeed. So that's been really beneficial. I'm actually still on it now. I've got a couple more workshops to do. So then also I applied to Creative Skill Set, the trainee finder. That's a really good opportunity for young people as well. And I was also accepted onto BAFTA Crew, having gained several television credits while still studying at university. And then after that, I was very fortunate, and something I can, I'm so thankful for the GTC for winning the Bill Vinten Award last year. Part of my prize was spending a bit of time with Martin Hawkins, as many of you will know, is a very well-respected, talented cameraman. And so, I got to spend a really good bit of time with him, on still open all hours, actually. So basically, going back to my sort of 2 months freelancing, as it were, after uni, sort of doing bits and bobs there, did a few corporates, a lot of commercials, things like that. Trying to find work as a camera trainee for television dramas and things. I got quite fortunate and landed a bit of work on Poldark and things like that. And then in February, Skillset rang me up and so sorry I didn't properly explain the skill set, but they're basically like an agency really for specifically for trainees. So they'll try and find you jobs and and stick you in for them. So anyway, they called me up in about February and said, look, we've got this really great opportunity coming up. We think that you'll probably want us to stick you in for it because it's Star Wars. And I was a bit like, oh, bloody hell. Didn't really know what to think. I was quite surprised, to be honest. So I ended up doing the new Star Wars for about 6 months. So that was a massive learning curve, going from smaller sets of daytime dramas onto a massive sort of Hollywood production. And where you're very much a very small cog in a very, very big machine. But I was told by Simon Ray, who a lot of you will know as well, a very well-respected cameraman, to basically just to continue staying true to myself and not be too consumed by the whole thing. And that's some of the best advice I've learned, not to lose track of what it is that I want to do in life. So after Star Wars, I was very fortunate, and I got offered a job in Broadchurch. So as of about 12 hours ago, I've finished that, and then obviously going back to television as well. Like it's a different environment, but at the same time, it's a smaller set, so you get the chance to actually kind of feel like you're helping to make the program a lot more, and it's very beneficial from a hands-on point of view. I was this year as well. I did a week on Ready Player One, the new Spielberg film. Sort of training under DOP Janusz Kaminski was amazing experience. So all in all, I think my first year from uni has been quite exciting, but it's also been full of quite a few challenges. I think mainly the whole kind of the networking and maintaining relationships that I mentioned earlier. I think that's so important, and it's drummed into you at university. They say, oh, network, and you think, oh yeah, it's fine. I've got a degree, I'll get a job. But I hate to be the burster of bubbles, but it doesn't quite work like that. You've got to really maintain those relationships. So that's so important. And I think honestly, my people skills have improved. I mean, a year ago I wouldn't have been able to do this. I was quite nervous before, but it's certainly improved it from that point of view. Another challenge for my first year has been finances. Being self-employed doesn't mean the luxury of a paycheck every week. Sometimes you're employed, sometimes you're treated as self-employed, sometimes you're treated as both. The truth is from what I've worked out, no one really knows what's going on, even HMRC. So it's important, I think, if you're a freelancer, really important to get yourself an accountant who understands the industry, and who can offer advice, and someone at the end of the phone, so you can phone up, how am I being treated for this job, and they'll be able to tell you. So definitely one for the younger people in this room thinking of going straight into the freelance world. Get an accountant, definitely. But I think another challenge for me this year has been keeping my eyes on the prize. Whilst at the moment I'm learning to be the best camera trainee, best camera technician I can be, stepping up when the opportunity allows, a bit of loading, a bit of focus pulling, and even some operating. You've got to. It's difficult to manage doing those kind of things on as well as your day job. I was quite fortunate to be part of a team selected to shoot an iShort film. When was it? Back in July. That we got a lot of public funding for, and it was, as many of you will know, it's quite a big thing. So that was quite an honour for me. But sort of balancing prepping for that as well as doing 14 hours a day on set wasn't the ideal situation, but it's something that's all about finding, and that's, for me, that was a massive learning curve, because it's all about finding the balance between your social life and your personal life, and not letting either one of those kind of get too much, especially the professional life. It's very easy to get consumed by the industry. It's very addictive as a freelancer to take, there's a job, I'll take it, it's a job, I'll take it, and then suddenly you realise, actually I've gone for several months without having any time off. Don't fall into that trap is another bit of advice I'd say. But as well, but you've got to also, I think one of the biggest bits of advice is don't take it too seriously. They always say it's only telly, we're not saving lives. And I think that's a really important bit of advice I was giving myself. you know, because it's although we're proud of our craft, we're proud of what we do. Camera technicians, camera operators, of which there are many talented ones in this room. You know, it's important to enjoy what you do and don't get too consumed by you know, the job. But it's not just a job, you know. It is although you've got to find that balance, it is a lifestyle, and that is, you know, I suppose what you enter into for being in this industry. And with a degree or not, you've always got to start at the bottom. Despite the fact that, you know, my time at uni, it was, you know, the best 3 years of my life. You know, I think it was absolutely amazing, and you know, and as I've mentioned, the graduate films that I shot and things like that, and the tight turnarounds, it's all so, you know, you've just got to sort of suck it all in, because it's such an important learning experience. You know, in the industry, it's not glamorous, and it's mostly thankless, and it can be quite cutthroat. But you know, and obviously you've got the uncertainty of being freelance, and but you know, you live for the moments that you don't get in any other lines of work. You know, you live for those moments when, you know, you've had a really long day, but you're, you know, doing the final shot on some glorious beach somewhere, and all the crew's buzzing, and there's a great atmosphere, and the light's just right, and you know, you feel great, and it's you can't get that in any other, well, not many other industries. So I think, yeah, to be honest, it's a small price to pay for the, you know, the sporadicness and uncertainty that you sometimes get. So yeah, I think, I think, yeah, it's about, you know, the ability to do what you want to do, which is a very important part of making yourself happy, ultimately. So yeah, sometimes you might get into the industry, you might, you know, excel, and you might find that actually, you know, it's really what you want to do. Or you might find that it's not what you want to do. Even if it's not, that's okay. It's not selfish to think about yourself. You know, you've got to, you know, you've just got to do what makes you happy. So, yeah, so all of you in this room now who are sort of recently graduated or about to graduate, or you know, starting out, then yeah, just keep your eyes on the prize, and you know, just do what you enjoy. But yeah, so I just want to say, yeah, thank you very much for the you know, the GTC and Bournemouth University for inviting me down tonight. It's been great to talk to you all. I hope I haven't rambled too much. And yeah, have a nice evening. Thank you very much, everybody.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Angus, for sharing that with us. He's also, I noticed you've also learned one of the golden rules of TV is that white lie that's so important for the clients, that your best years were here, even though last year you spent with Spielberg, and yeah, that's fine. I'm sure Bournemouth was very, very good. So there's always a high standard of dramas in the competition, and it's exciting to see such confident and skilled students coming into our industry. I've been very impressed this year with the ideas, the level of skill in both lighting and camera operation, and the quality of some of the images in the drama category, and I'm sure you will be too. Let's have a look at them.
Here you are. Hey, Mark has come to grace us with his present.
Oi, oi.
You alright, Marky boy?
You're right.
Go on, mate.
Go again, mate.
Oh. Is it just us or them?
Oh, come on, throw me the ball. Oh, come on, we want to play, don't we, boys? Oh, come on, throw us the ball. Woof, woof. Hey, Dan, finish up the act, mate. We've got to go training.
thought about this moment every night. Would I kill the man that took from me the only people I ever cared about? I could break every bone in your body.
You help us with this, Carl. I promise you, you'll never have to deal for him again.
Oh, I've got to straighten that canvas. You fucking do it. What you do? No, you do it. Fine. Possum. Shit. What do we do now?
Be patient. This is just a minor hiccup in the plan.
Let's just go.
No, wait. We got this. You can't stay in there forever.
Weston, no!
Rapist prick.
Stop! It's not him.
Shit, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm damn well sure.
Well, how can you tell?
He's black.
Amazing. It was interesting to see the scale and ambition on some of the projects being produced this year. And that last clip was a real case in point, so well done to Will from University of Sunderland. Seeing those drama clips and listening to Angus, particularly as I now know he lives just down the road in Slough when I was in Windsor Boys, so that's why he's obviously so good. Reminds me of how I got started at the BBC. Luckily enough, in those days, I was able to take advantage of the BBC's camera training scheme that started at Evesham. Sadly, they didn't teach us anything about fashion, obviously, but although you'll notice during my time I was there, we went from Reedon Wing, which was a place in Evesham where they had their own training thing, and then we went down to Television Centre and we did a lot of hands-on training rather than in a university, which there weren't really university courses in those days that did it. But when I joined the BBC, I think there were 19 crews at the television centre just in London at the time. And each crew had 6 people, and then there was another pool of camera men and camera assistants. So it was an enormous amount of staff that you could learn from when you were there. Unfortunately, the training could be a bit hit and miss, depending on which crew you ended up on. As some of the crews, the senior cameraman thought the best way to learn was just by you standing next to him and making him cups of tea and things. I was lucky I worked with a legend in our industry called Ron Green, who's on the front of this crane here, and a guy called Peter Ware. Both of them thought the best way to learn was to make you do it, and they would stand with you and help you and advise you. And it was absolutely a great training. The other lottery in those days, when you were going down to TV Centre, was the programmes you worked on, because obviously the BBC in that time did a massive amount of their own output. Again, I was lucky enough to work on just an incredible range of programmes, from sitcoms that still get shown today, like Some Others to Have Them, and I even worked on The Last Fawlty Towers, and then costume dramas such as The Aeneid Lines and I, Claudius, through to iconic music programmes, which our great president, John Henschel, was well aware of, like Top of the Pops and the Old Grey Whistle Test. And the Old Grey Whistle Test and Top of the Pops was where I first started getting to use handheld cameras, because in that day, of course, they were probably about as big as the studio cameras are nowadays, and nobody wanted to cart them around, so it was always given to the junior guy. And then other days you could find yourself out on a motorbike or doing an outside broadcast at a football pitch somewhere. So there was a real mix of things that you did and would learn from. That was at Wimbledon one year when they still had standing section at the centre court, and that's a prime example of, you know, you suddenly get put on something where people expect you to know the players, how the games work. You know, you're meant to suddenly have knowledge in football, ice skating, tennis, whatever it might be. And that was one of the biggest things at that time, really, was the ability and expectation that you could work on anything. One day you'd be doing a live children's programme, the next day a drama. Unfortunately, nowadays, I think production companies have got it a bit wrong, where a lot of them want to pigeonhole you into they do reality shows or they just do sports stuff. And one of the things that I've really enjoyed over the years is the fact that I've managed to keep a real mix of different genres. And I'd argue that the experience that I gained in my training and doing all the different things, just if you're doing sport, it helps in things like when you suddenly go off and are doing dramas or documentaries, where you still pretty much only have one chance to get a good take. So I think the BBC was a brilliant place for me to start. Over recent years, as I say, I've started doing a lot of work now with UNICEF, which has taken me to lots of different parts of Africa. And the travelling brings a whole new dimension to the work, because you get very limited on what you can take with you. Crews are much smaller now than they were. And you also have this issue of suddenly being in the middle of somewhere and someone says, oh, we're doing the next bit, we've got to fly somewhere, but you can only take 17 kilos of stuff with you. So it's a matter of sorting through, getting what the most important things are and making it work once you get there. But the people you meet and the stories you can tell more than make up for any problems that you might have on the way. The children we film with over in Africa are just incredible. You know, you're working in places where a lot of these kids have absolutely nothing, but as you can see, they're cheery, smiley, and just so excited when they're there. And you can get their trust and get way better stuff from them by doing exactly this, letting them have a play with the camera, look, film some of their friends, see the playback, and you get to earn their trust from that. And a lot of them even are very cheap camera assistants as well, which is fantastic. One recent trip, we came across a project where they were actually encouraging, this AMREF, where they were encouraging people to go into our industry. And they had, in the building behind there, they had a little edit suite and some really basic equipment. And it was it's one of those things where the GTC really came into its own, because when I came back from this, I was so taken with it that I put a little blog up on the forum and said I wanted to buy some second-hand gear, if someone's got a tripod and things that they aren't using anymore, so that next time I go back I can take some stuff. And within hours, not only had I got other cameramen offering me stuff for free, but I had some of our sponsors, and particularly Vinten, who donated tripods, some sound organizer bags and other bits and pieces. So that, combined with other things I had from other camera guys and my own stuff that I took over, made for some very happy faces next time I was there. So I'm sure Bill would have been really proud of the way that his company stepped in to donate, when really I was just trying to buy some second-hand gear myself. At the moment, I'm in the middle of filming a documentary in South Sudan with Tom Hiddleston, which is very trying in that at the moment the biggest problem is we can't get back into the country. But it also shows how people will put their time with a good project as well, because we started working with Tom before he got really more famous than he was, with things like The Night Manager and all the latest rumours about him being the next Bond. And he still is actually giving us time, even though this project's gone way over when it should have finished. And in between all his major Hollywood shoots, he keeps phoning and saying, look, I've got 2 weeks here or 2 weeks here, let's go back. Unfortunately, at the moment, all travel there's banned, so it's a bit difficult. But that trip and others to remote places always provides challenges to find new ways of shooting and different angles. And both Tom and I did a program called The Cold Chain with Ewan McGregor, and they became masters of this very cheap and easy device that I came up with, which is, I guess, basically a selfie stick, a ski pole with a GoPro on it. And when the going gets tough and the terrain is really difficult, they were both really good at being able to walk along with it and give a different viewpoint of angles where I either couldn't walk in front of them or wouldn't or shouldn't, whichever one it was. And again, in Nepal, the help with carrying equipment was amazing. These Sherpas get paid a pittance, but want to carry as much as they can, because the more they carry, the more they get paid. And to start with, I insisted on carrying most of my own stuff until maybe 37 minutes into the trip, when I decided that actually these guys are pretty good, and obviously my mind as a cameraman was better focused on keeping my energy. But yeah, the high altitude was incredible and really showed very quickly how unfit I was. Sorry, just lost my place there a minute. Luckily, as I mentioned, not all my work is so remote, and this was one of the control rooms recently at Rio, where I've just come back from working on the Olympics for NBC. And again, it's something I really enjoy doing, mixing the sport and the documentaries and some dramas, a bit of music stuff, occasionally even working with the lovely Martin Hawkins as well, like you, Angus, who's a fantastic guy. But this year was my 15th Olympics. On the left is my first Olympics in 1984, and the old git on the right is me now, and that was, I guess that was Sochi probably, a couple of years back. So I've managed to cover 7 summer games and 8 winter games. Interestingly, although I've only done 3 different networks, NBC, CBS and ABC, all Americans, always chase the dollar because they've got more money than the BBC, but within those Olympics, I've actually used 10 different camera formats now, which just shows how the stuff changes so quickly. And the other great thing with big events like the Olympics, when you're doing stuff like that, is the people you meet. The guy here is works for the world feed at the Olympics every year or every time, and he's actually a Finnish cameraman, and luckily his English is way better than my Finnish, so we've managed to strike up quite a good friendship over the years, from Beijing through London and now in Rio. Having done several feature type shoots, this was the other man who's I've done a lot of work with, both in Jamaica and at the Olympics, and it's it's funny because you don't think you're affected at all when you're doing this job, but every now and then there comes a moment. And I was doing some stuff in LA recently with Tom Hiddleston, and I was checking in at the hotel, and Paul McCartney was standing next to me, and I almost couldn't speak. It was like, to me, so exciting. And this man has achieved that as well. I think he's just such an amazing athlete, and it was really touching to me that after he'd got his gold medal, which is around his neck there, he actually came all the way back to where I work at the Olympics to find me because he wanted a selfie, which amazingly he then sent to me via email, which having written it down for him, I never thought. So I now have his email address if anyone wants it. So. Winter Games are a bit more of a challenge. Sadly, it doesn't look like I'm moving at all there, but over the years, I've skied most of the downhill courses and the giant slalom courses, either with or without presenters. And it's a challenge, and again, it's an exciting thing to do. And you know, over the years, it's given people an idea of how fast and dangerous the courses are, particularly when they can hear me going "ah" as I'm just about to not hit a gate. So, but these environments, whether it's here in the snow or back in Africa, they're not friendly for the gear. And again, nowadays, when you're travelling light, you haven't got the backups that you would hope to have. And there's another one of our sponsors here I noticed today from TopTex, who are on speed dial on my phone as I buy all my equipment through them. And particularly Trevor and John in their technical side, when I'm in places like this and in the middle of Africa, quite often at the end of a phone call going, "John, you know, I've got this problem where it won't do this." And part of the great thing of being in the GTC is being able to call people like that and get some maintenance over the end of a phone line. And it's really, really satisfying when you can get something going. And particularly when they're so patient, when you're going, "Do you mean the red one or the green one?" It's like cutting the wires. It's on a bomb. It's like... So. The clips we've seen so far, it's, you know, I'm absolutely amazed. I'd be proud to have any of those things we've seen so far on my show reel. I sometimes worry that maybe people have too much time to achieve those great results. But then listening to Angus, I now understand better that because of the demands that there's maybe 80 people all trying to put their stuff together, it's incredible how they can all work together and get it done under pressure. Because it's one of the main things in our job is everyone thinks it's like, oh, you get lots of time, and certainly I'm sure Angus would say the difference between working on a feature film and a daytime drama for the BBC is chalk and cheese for how much time you get. And one of the most common things that sadly you'll all have to do once you leave here is just frame and light a two-way interview very, very quickly with a director over your shoulder going, "Yeah, we should be at the next place already by now." But and that's one of the sad realities, as is the cutthroat and money-conscious production managers that dictate to us nowadays, who are all desperate to save a few pounds here and there. And when you're trying to make everything look as good as possible and want to take, particularly going abroad when there's excess baggage and things, and you're pleading with them to let you take an extra thing or a camera assistant, and they won't have any of it. Everyone wants the end result to look like a big budget film, but they don't want to spend the money. So, and that's where the skill comes in, and that's what you guys have been learning here, and that's what I can see from the clips we've seen, that having a good eye for a shot and the ability to do stuff quickly and use natural light where available is all very important. And this was from a David Beckham documentary I shot that went out just before Christmas, where we travelled to 6 continents in allegedly 6 days, but we took 7 really, because we couldn't fly to Alaska. But it was just amazing the results we managed to get and how quickly we had to work, and there was no chance of that for lighting, apart from a very, very few occasions in doing interviews in hotels. And it's the cameras nowadays, you're so lucky that, you know, you've got an amazing array of cameras that you can use. you've got the ability to use LUTs and things to make it look good, and you've got colorists who can fix stuff pretty well nowadays afterwards. So on this one we pretty much did all the looks in camera, and we tried to do a different LUT for each continent to give it a different feel, and I think it worked when it went out. So it was very demanding but great fun to do. And a good documentary, I think, though, is where you learn something about a subject that you didn't know before, and whether it's about an event or a person or a place. And our job behind the camera is to contribute to that storytelling and use all the techniques that we've learnt in other areas of camera work so that the images stay with you long after you've finished watching. And hopefully, I think if people watch it and don't even think about the camera work, then you've really achieved it. So it's a cameraman's job, I think, to build a relationship with the subject, and that was one of the things with the Beckham thing. It was a very tight team, and I think once you've worked closely with people, you do get the best out of them. So there was the entries in this year's documentary awards. I think there's a couple of really good examples of that as well, where that's been achieved. So let's take a look at them.
Lyndon started swimming when he was a year old. My dad took him to the local swim baths, and it was good exercise for Lyndon, being an amputee, and it was good for his skin, and he just took to the water straight away. He had no fear whatsoever of the water, and it was great. It was just nice to see him in the water. It was like he was free. Meningococcal septicemia is what Lyndon had, and he woke up, he was pale, he was floppy, he refused his feed, and he generally wasn't well. His disabilities never ever stopped him from doing anything. I always say his swimming people, they're sort of another family. Whereas if he didn't have that, he'd probably just be stuck in a room playing on a PlayStation doing nothing.
Oh, I need to say. No, next one, I've got over that.
The collection is about empowerment. The S&C girl is very powerful, feminine. She is the one in power. She isn't there to entice men or entice anybody in. She is just that powerful figure. She knows who she is, and she is the boss. She's a boss in it.
We've been guzzling our faces on this wonderful creature's oozing produce since the beginning of time. But how do bees make their delicious honey?
They'll find a plant which is secreting nectar, suck the nectar up through their proboscis, which is their tongue, take it back to the hive. They go inside the hive, and it's at this point that they do the waggle dance, because they want all of the other bees in the hive to know where they've collected that superfood from. It is mixed with enzymes which the bees produce inside their bodies, and then it's regurgitated and deposited into the cells inside the hive. When it's right, the bees know, and then they put a wax capping over it, and that keeps it as pure honey, and that's how honey's made.
Ξεχωρίζω τα καλώδια, τα αλουμίνια, τα μπρούτζα εννοούμε τις λύσεις, αυτές που είναι λύσεις είναι μπρούτζα. Τα καλώδια τα καθαρίζουμε, τα καίνε. Όσα τα κουτάκια τα αλουμίνια που είναι τα ξεχωρίζουμε ένα-ένα, κάνουμε 2 φορές διαδικασία δηλαδή. Τα μαζεύουμε και πάνε όλα μαζί και στο σπίτι τα ξεχωρίζουμε. Είναι μια ζωή... Δεν είναι ακριβή ζωή αυτή που κάνει. Το χειρότερο πράγμα στη ζωή είναι αυτό να είναι να το συνέχεις στο χωματέρι. Το χειρότερο πράγμα. Όταν μπαίνω εκεί μέσα νιώθω ότι η μισή μου ζωή είναι ήδη απέταλο.
Excellent films there. The last one there obviously highlights another skill of the documentary maker, getting to know your subjects and gaining their trust and getting access to something outside most people's experience. It's also very similar to some of the stuff I do for UNICEF, which is like beautiful, so it's good. I think our industry is another one where you go to so many different things and do so many different like jobs that it's probably why I have an awful lot of knowledge of, I have a little bit of knowledge of an awful lot of subjects. These awards are supported by the Television and Video Camera Craft Educational Trust. The charitable trust administers the money donated by Bill Vinten to fund the work experience for tonight's winners. Bill was a cameraman himself and was always keen to support young people. The awards competition that was created by Stuart McKeers, the chair of the trust, was seen by Bill as an ideal platform to encourage talent and, to use his own words, he was happy to provide the fuel. The winners tonight will not only receive work experience but also membership to the GTC, which means that they'll have access to advice from industry experts and manufacturers on our forum, and me, of course. The advice available isn't just on operating issues either. There's plenty of help on the more mundane but important issues such as insurance and legal matters, and they'll be able to go to our workshops free of charge. Clive, who's sitting over here on my right here, is responsible for organising these and does an absolutely amazing job. We've had such a variety of these recently, including aerial filming, radio cameras, shooting 4K, drama lighting, working in hostile environments, the list goes on. And last weekend there was a workshop on time-lapse, hyperlapse and cinefade, I believe, although I was away. So I'll be doing this, but if you're not sure what any of those are, then there'll be a report in either of our magazines of Zerb or the GTC newsletter, which is something else you get when you're a member of the GTC. But I'd certainly encourage you to look at joining the GTC, because there are so many people, there's a great forum, and there's so many people out there who will always be happy to help you. Anyway, let's get on with the awards. This year we've had 7 volunteer judges viewing the films. I think 4 are here tonight, but duty calls for the others and they're away working, which is one of the key problems with our industry. Cancel those barbecues because you're going to be working. Their scores for each film were added together and we have a clear winner. But this is an indication of the exceptional quality of camera work that was submitted to the competition. The next 15 places were separated by just 16 points. Now, many of you here will watch more student films than is healthy, probably, but one judge said of the first runner-up, "At last, a grown-up film to watch." Another said, "This is a great example of how basic camera work can tell a story, with the images being able to show most of the story without the dialogue being present." Another comment was, "The camera work is excellent, stylish, consistent, unobtrusive, and it's one of the best entries we've had yet in this competition." I have to say that I too found the standard incredible, but I'm sure you're all eager to hear the results. So to present the first award, I'd like to invite on stage again, last year's winner, Angus Mitchell.
Thanks, Graham. Cheers. And the winner of third place, it goes to Tim Stibbs for Conveyor from the Northern Forestry.
We'll have a look at some of Tom's work now.
There you go, man. You're not hungry. 8:06. Okay. Have a good day. Remember, it's the bad days that make the good days better. I'll see you in a little while.
Tom, if I can just give you your certificate and things as well. Thanks. Come on back up. That was really. I have to say that film made me feel rather uncomfortable because I'm a bit OCD myself, so it was like I started looking at my routine and thinking, oh, maybe I'll have to change that before Tom comes around and films me. The camera work prompted one judge to call the entry a charming, well-paced film, and another said, overall, there's some very good work here, and I'd have no hesitation in saying that this person is working to a professional standard. So many congratulations. Another judge said, I liked the creative use of camera focus and cutaways. The camera moves felt natural, and the style of the camera work fitted the documentary subject matter very well. So I'd like to invite the Executive Dean, Professor Michael Wilmore, to present the runner-up award, which I'm very glad to say is in the documentary category.
Okay, and the winner of this award is Alexander Lynes from the University of York.
Let's have a look at Alex's work.
What I'd call it is the order of things. As you get older and you start to mature, you lose your parents. It's expected because it's the order of things. And then the older you get, you start to lose your siblings and things like that, and friends. But you see, pets come into your life as adults. It's like child, you don't expect to lose a child before you die. It's the order of things.
So now we come to the important part of the evening, where I stop talking? No. Where we, the winner of this year's Bill Vinten GTC University Award. I'm just going to sum it up with 2 comments from the judges. The first one, wow, what a good film. Utterly professional at every level and an intriguing script. But of course, we're judging the camera work, really. Another judge said, the photography is very good and shows real maturity. A good mix of operating styles used appropriately, lovely soft palette of colours, good lighting and nice framing. An excellent entry, well worth the award. For the winner of the Bill Vinten GTC University Award, I'd like to ask Peter Harmon from Vinten to make the presentation. Step up here, Peter. Come on, use the big boys one.
I get to open a golden envelope at long last. Okay. Oh, glasses. So the winner for this year's award is Krista Gresham Antonsen, Under the Floorboards, University of York.
So let's see an excerpt from Under the Floorboards.
No stories tonight. You need your rest. It's your big day tomorrow.
Don't you have somewhere to be? Good night.
I heard noises.
You should be in bed, Peter.
Hi, I wanted to come see you.
Let me show you something.
Absolutely amazing, Krista, I have to say. I watched that a few times and was taken aback every time. It's fantastic and well deserved. If you haven't seen all the films and would like to, all of them are on the GTC website and you can get on. There's links to each of the films, and please have a look at them because they are absolutely incredible, all of them. On to the main award of the night now, and this is the Bill Vinten GTC University Trophy that goes to the university with the highest scoring portfolio with the 3 different genres. I understand that many courses have drama projects for their students in their 3rd year, but we're committed to training and encouraging skills across the full range of activities, as I said earlier. The universities in contention have shown that they've provided the foundation of knowledge and good practice for their students in several areas. In third place was where we are now, Bournemouth University. In second place, the University for the Creative Arts. And to announce the winner of this year's Bill Vinten GTC University Award is the Chair of the Television and Video Camera Craft Educational Trust, Stuart McKeers. Thank you, Stuart.
Well, as I seal these, I should know what's inside it, actually. 50 years ago, I just left art college after training for photography. That art college is now part of a university, and that university is University of Portsmouth, with this year's winners. Anybody from the University of Portsmouth? Come down. That's all right. Right, well done. Thank you very much.
Stuart, maybe it's a shot. Please.
The centre.
There you go.
That's the other thing you'll learn, is that photographers always get in the way and annoy you when you're filming, so just know.
That's why I trained to become one.
So many congratulations to all the winners tonight. As I've said before, it was an incredibly high standard and a pleasure to watch. So it just leaves me to thank Professor Michael Wilmore and Bournemouth University for inviting us here and hosting the event so beautifully tonight. Mark Bond and his team who've organised the catering and the facilities. Stuart McKeers and Alan Duxbury, who organise the competition each year, and Jay Rosansky for streaming the event for us and being in the back room there. So flash that, Jay, if you can hear us. Come on, you can do it. No, he's asleep. But thanks, Jay. Also, thanks go to Angus Mitchell for sharing his experiences, and to our sponsors who are here tonight. I wish all the nominees every success as they launch their careers, and hope they get the enjoyment, satisfaction and variety that I've been lucky enough to experience. I'm actually signing up to Angus's agency that he's setting up, so I can get some work from him. But finally, seriously, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight and making it a memorable night for our young filmmakers. Let's hope it's not too long before we see their names on credits, either on television or maybe even on the big screen. Thank you.